Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we'll continue our discussion on cascading style sheet. We'll talk about CSS box model, we'll talk about setting element width and border, and then we'll try to set margins and paddings. Now, remember one thing, CSS always treat every single HTML element as a rectangular box, whether it's a paragraph or it's a heading 1 or heading 2 or header or footer, anything as an HTML element, CSS box model treat it as a rectangular box. And remember, every element has a border, every element has a margin and padding. Now, if you see here, this is our element. It could be heading. Now, every heading has a padding. If you see a space between the text and the border line, so inside, that is what we call padding. So this is black line is a border, and outside the border we have a margin. And remember, the margin is always invisible. Now we do have properties for this box model. Most commonly used properties are the border, padding, and margin. We do have other properties such as width, minimum width and maximum width, or height, minimum height and maximum height. But mostly we'll be talking on border, padding, and margin. Now, for every border, padding, or margin, we have some unit of measures. So based on that unit, you will get the thickness or the spacing between the padding and between the border and the text, or for the margin. So that will be based on your unit of measures. Now, unit of measures, either it could be a relative unit or it is an absolute unit. Absolute means fixed. For example, 10 pixels. So 10 pixel is fixed. It will be 10 pixel. But if you say 1 EM, EM is an acronym of element. 1 EM means 100% size of the text. So 2 EM means double the size of text. So if it is 1 EM, then the thickness of this border will be same as the size of this text. So let's see the example of the EM, relative unit. Now if you see, so this is padding is 1 EM. If you can see, the size is bigger. Similarly, the border is 1 EM. You can see the thickness is 1 EM. Whatever the size of text, we have the size of border. And similar is the case here. You see, smaller the text, smaller the border. So this is what we have, an example of 1 EM, unit of measures, relative or absolute. We do have another one, that is REM. That is what we call root element. Now, it depends on the size of page or the size which you specify in the HTML tag. HTML tag within the style sheet. Okay, so for this HTML, by default it is 16 pixels. I have written this for your convenience. So font size is 16 pixel. So 1 REM is like a 16 pixel size. If I change this one to 20 pixels, so the 1 REM will be 20 pixels and 2 REM will be 40 pixels. Okay, so this is what we have the example. Now let me copy this one, this part, and we can see on the screen. Now if I copy paste this part, so H1 and I have H2 and the size is 1 REM. Okay, and let's see here what is happening. So I can refresh the page and you can see that this is my padding is 1 REM. so 16 size, and this is also 16 size, and the margin is also there. Now if I change it to 1 EM, you will see that the size of this border is according to the size of this text. Now refresh it, and similarly for this border will be the size of this text. You see that? Bigger the size of the font of the text, bigger the size of the border, bigger the padding, bigger the margin. Smaller the size of the text, smaller the padding, smaller the border. So, and similarly the smaller the margin. So this is how what we're gonna be having. We do have separate properties for the box model. So for example, instead of saying for the padding, if I say it is not like that, if it is padding top, okay, padding top, and that is 1 EM, and that is solid black. I have to specify solid black, otherwise I'll be in trouble. So let's see the top for both of them. Refresh the page, and what happens? Padding is there, but we cannot see the padding. Let me change the padding to the border. So border is there. Border, spelling mistake. Border top. If you see, the top border is 1 EM. Whatever the size here, the size of the border is here. Now if I say padding top, and that is 1 EM. Now you will see the same size. You see here, same size of the text is now border. So it is the padding. The border is away 1 EM from the text. You see that? So similarly you can say margin is, now let me try the margin 0. Okay, we are having margin 0. Let's see. Oh, so the margin is 0, so it went back. You see that? So there you go. Now let me see the next exercise. We already talked about the REM. REM is depending on the size of your HTML font size. So that is 16 by default, 16 pixels. Now we will distribute our web page into different elements. So for example, this body, what I say is this is one div, and I close this div in here. So div is one element, so this all will become one element. Now what I want to do is I want to give this all element a style, and I will create a class that is what I call container. Okay, so any font or style I define in the container will be applied to all of them. So what I'm going to do is let me change the, let's try. So first of all, we'll create the container class. Let me delete this one, and I say save it and refresh it, so it's blank now. And dot container, dot means class container, and the font or the background is background color is light blue. Let's see, background color is light blue. Let's try and see if it is coming the light blue. There you go. You see the container has a light blue. Now because I'm giving a color here for this one green, that is why it is applying the green color. So let me delete this color from here, and let me see on the top. So everything is now blue. Okay, now for heading 1 and contacts I need a green color. So what I'm going to say is, okay, the background color is green for the H1 and the contact. Save it and refresh it. Now I got a. Similarly, I specify the color white. If I don't specify the color white, the default is black. So I should be having a black color. Now I say no, the color is white. So for this one, for the heading one and the footer, I should be having a white color. So there you go. Now another container is, I want to have that this part is my article. So article is also one of the HTML tag that is available in. An article is for here, for the heading 2 and 2 paragraphs are my articles. So, and then we do have another, this paragraph is my, I can say, aside. This aside is also HTML tag, and this is what we'll be using for the site of our web page. So now we have divided and we have different elements. Now we have article element and then we have the aside element. Now let's go and give a style to the aside element. And in this one, I'm going to say, okay, aside the background color is golden rod. There you go, and I close the site. So let's see here. Oh, there you go. Now you have golden rod. Okay, I want a beige color. I don't want light blue. Beige, B-A-I-G-E. And let's see it effect. There you go. So we have a beige color now. We have a side is golden rod, and we do need something for the paragraph, for the side. I say for the paragraph, aside and then paragraph. So this one, I want the separate properties. You remember the border top, okay? And that is, I say 5 pixel, just to make sure that you can see that one. Solid and black, semicolon. And let's go and see if it comes like a, you see the fallen here? Now similarly, I can go for the border bottom. 5 pixel, solid black. We got a bottom, and see we have nothing on the left. So let me change it back to 1 pixel and 1 pixel. Now I need a padding as well. So what I'm going to say is padding. Let's try the padding. Padding is maybe 1 EM, for example. And let's try. And you see that? And this is 1 pixel, that's why you cannot see that. So let me increase the size to maybe 3 pixels. 3 pixels, and I can see here. So you can see some small line as well. Okay, so this was like aside P. And now if you see, our page looks like this one. You see the white and the background is green, then we have a beige and then goldenrod and then green and white. So our page exactly look like that part. Now let's talk about margins and padding values. So for margin, padding, and if we specify 4 values in the margins, it means the first value is the top value, the second is the right, then bottom, then left. So top, right, bottom, left, just like clockwise. And if we have like 3 values, the first one value is the top. Always first value is top. Now the second is left and right, third is the bottom. Now we have 2 values. In case if we are having 2 values, means first is the top and bottom, second is left and right. And if we are having like 1 value, this is for top, right, bottom, left, same value. This is the shortcut, by the way. Now we're already done with the with this example of aside and the container. We already done this part. And that's it for today. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.